You guys know what y'all doing. I'm here killing it. Um, but I had
True,
to jump
true.
on. It's actually coincidental. How you doing? I just was having this conversation with my mother, 38 years, successfully married. Same topic, and mainly what I wanted to do is answer the question, can you have a man commit as a woman? Absolutely not. A man is somebody that has to find his own decisive path in life way before a woman ever even arrives. A man is going to have a mindset. He's going to have a plan. And in some cases, he may have a partial plan. He may not be, see it all the way through, but there's going to be things about him. So no, a woman does not have that ability nor that power or control. Ladies, if that's what you're trying to do, stop it because you're wasting your time. That's just not your gifting, in my opinion. What I did want to do though is ask Kayla a question because I've heard this several times about the partial contribution to, I guess, being a girlfriend and then getting to the wife. And what does it look like to give it all, like in your opinion?
Hmm.
Because you say, well, you don't give it all, and that's confusing for me.
Hmm.
I'm really trying to figure that out, but I'll let you answer that, then I'll follow that up. So,
Sure. I mean, for me, all means like unlimited. Like it
okay.
means limitless. So limitless, like sex whenever you want it, food whenever you want it. Like it's different when you are married to someone. I just think that commitment is something different versus if I live at my house and you live at your house, you
Mm,
of course you can eat if I cooked, right? And I already cooked for me and there's food, of course you can eat, but like Tara said, it's not necessarily for you because I live here by myself and I'm if you don't come eat it, it's just going to go in the trash. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I feel like a part of it all means unlimited access. It's about access to me.
mm.
So being
Okay.
married means unlimited access to me versus you just making a verbal commitment that you can break anytime you feel like it. That's like just different.
Okay,
Like
that's
I'm willing
fair.
to show
Thank.
you. I'm going to show you, but unlimited
Mm,
access to me when you haven't, like Tara said, taken me off the market, you have me in limbo. Like, yeah, I like you. I want to make you my girlfriend, and but I don't want you
mm.
seeing anyone else. And you're wasting up these years of the youth of the important years, and you're not doing something about it. Like, I don't know.
Mm. Okay, that's fair. Thank you for answering that. Um, I'm gonna try to keep it concise. So I understand to a degree, and well, at least I try to understand to a degree, because I'm assuming being a woman has a lot more variables to the dating, to the courting, and all of those things. So obviously, yes, you wouldn't put yourself on the market and allow for yourself to have every single man that comes across your path that you find interesting to experience you at the fullness. However, um, again, I had this conversation earlier with my mother. I was like, I don't understand how women expect for men to see them and all they have to offer if you're playing defense in a relationship you're trying to be offensive on. It makes absolutely no sense. If you look at
Yes.
a relationship like a business transaction, if you look at a relationship like you're pursuing a company that you value, you're not going to sit at an interview because let's be clear, being a woman, you're being acquired as a candidate for my corporation. I'm looking to hire you. You're having a life career job. It is your absolute position to show me exactly what I'm signing up for. And
Mhm.
even with a corporation, they do not offer you full benefits packages. You don't get corporate expense accounts. You don't get those things. And even if you're qualified, I don't care where you graduated from, I have to see some of those things. So I guess as women, maybe I should ask, how do you do that successfully where the numbers are not high, but you give enough to men that are pursuing you to be positioned to be acquired, because I do know
Right.
several women who are feminine. I know several women who they all the ladies came on this panel tonight and said the same thing. My mother said the same thing. She had to practice being a wife before my dad ever showed up. She literally converted her life before he showed up, and she took herself off the dating market. She was diligent in her diet and all of those things, so when he found her, there wasn't too much of an overhaul, but she didn't wait till the man showed her what she needed to see. she had already committed to marriage as a lifestyle because that's what she wanted. So I guess that's another question I have for the lady. How do you as a woman give a man enough? Because sometimes I think there's this mindset that I'm only gonna do this for the right person. However, I'm of the practice. I am the mindset of practice. Like dating doesn't have to be permanent, and dating doesn't always have to be like every single person is gonna lead to marriage. You can use these opportunities to grow, to learn, and to also position yourself for the mindset necessary for your husband when he arrives. But I digress.
I don't disagree. I don't
That was beautiful.
disagree. Go ahead, Shannon.
Well, let me say,
True.
Thank you. Thank you. I think, Kayla, specifically to what you're saying in your social circle, I see women do this a lot. There is a safe, almost a concrete assumption that the women that are in these relationships are with the men they're supposed to be with, vice versa. And to a lot of other people's points, there's no communication. I don't think that it's a time frame. But what I think is that when there is a man who is on the journey of being married, he's going to only allow for a certain level of attention from a woman, and he's only going to give a certain amount of attention to a woman. He's going to get to it. A lot of times people meet people at different points in life. You meet your spouse maybe when you're 18, 19 years old. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't necessarily be married, because like you said, to your point, you can go to the Justice of the Peace and have a marriage certificate, a ceremony, whichever. So I think it's variables. I think that you can't tie it to time, but I do think that you need someone who has a clear cut, again, vision. And I said that when I first got on here. A man's going to have that.
But
a lot of times,
I want a time.
Sure,
give
sure.
me specifically. Give
Yeah,
me
why
how
can't there be a
much time.
I think anytime if a man is in a position where he wants to find a wife, it's gonna be under a year.
Under a year.
Two tops.
Okay.
Two tops.
6 months to a year. 6 months to a year. He should be under. And
There's
he's
no
not-
reason to draw this thing out. You know,
Right.
when a man, men are very simple in that sense. When we like something, we usually purchase it or figure out how to purchase it, you know, acquire it, you know what I'm saying? Grab it, whatever it may be. That's kind of how we work. So it's the same thing with a woman.
Okay, well,
But I think it's important.
Black man. I wanna push back just a little bit on what you said in reference to Tara, because I appreciated what Tara said as well. I don't know if you guys caught it, but Tara's one requirement for all of the characteristics that she brought to the particular equation was that a man does provide. And one of the things that I hear often is this, you know, a man needs to provide provision, especially in this space that is relationships. I think one of the main reasons that sometimes that's troublesome is what those provisions look like, because, you know, numbers are numbers. You know, living is living. If you live in a metropolitan area, if you live in any place that is, you know, overly populated, the earning potential you need to have is substantial. I think most of us know that by just being in this space. And so I hear this a lot. It's, you know, oh, provide. And I think that the provisions need to be really, really categorized past the economic point. What else does that look like? Because a lot of times men just get narrowed down to their wallet. Let's be clear. Most men are not making a substantial amount of money. Most men don't make more than $60,000 a year. If you even make that, you're considered above average.
Exactly.
To sustain she was a single mother from what I remember her saying. So she came in with already a sense of a deficit, you know, an immediate responsibility that he had to provide for. So not only himself, her, and a child, he had a family of 3. Yeah, she's great. Her characteristics are great, but I guess what does the provisions look like in real time? Because it's easy to, you know, go into an imaginary world and say, oh, man has to make 6 figures or 200,000 or whatever. That's not, people aren't living like that. Most couples work. Most men and women work. So I guess I would say, what does that look like? You know, we have women on this panel, you know, please help me.
They get pregnant like they do. They get pregnant.
Can I change the lens just for a moment? I hope I can do this. I'm gonna try to do this specifically to June's point. Because we're on a panel that most of us are from the chocolate community, and I think why that's important. Try to make my point is that marriage as a whole has been a practice of everybody, every culture, every human, since the beginning of time. One of the things that's often not spoken to is that our community does not marry the same way. And the main reason is, let's be clear, especially from the provisionist perspective, all my friends that are Asian, Middle Eastern, and from other derived cultures, these men are not men that are necessarily thriving by themselves. Marriage is a transaction of families. And in most cases, the men can meet a wife, meet a woman, or, so on, and marry her fairly fast because the provisions are already there. The foundation has already been laid. He's not coming from having to make himself something necessarily. His doctor, education, his lawyer education, his whatever he decides to be is just adding to the overall lineage that's already been developed. And I think sometimes we don't do our community a service because we're trying to act like we've had thousands of years to create this same level of lineage, the same level of foundation. That's not the truth. Most people who are going to marry within our community are going to have to grow and build together. They're going to have to somewhat struggle together. So there's this whole meeting a man who is just, you can just walk into your womanly role and not have to contribute, and you can go out and eat 5 times a week or whatever was being said earlier. I just don't see that as a reality for most people.
It's not a reality.
I don't see that. I think that we have to really give credence to that because our community doesn't work like other people's communities. Most men and most women.
Give me an example.
Like there's been wedding, like we've been married. Black people have been married in America before. It's just we're looking at it this way where you're saying that oh no, we need to learn how to do it. Like no, we've already learned how to do it. We already have tradition.
That's not my argument though. That's not what I'm saying.
Maybe I'm missing it.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's not marriage. See, marriage, you're right. Marriage through the Jim Crow era, civil rights era, marriage was what we did. That's not what people are doing now. No. People don't want to be married. People want to walk into thriving relationships, thriving positions. They don't want to build. See, we were building.
We're lazy about our relationships, and that's the problem.
We were building back then. We're not building now.
My bad. I was missing the point, and that was my fault.
No, you're fine. But no, thank you for that. Because I literally had this conversation with my mother earlier. When my mother, almost 40 years married now, when she met my dad, he was broke. Yeah. He was broke. He had nothing to offer her but commitment, a godlike consciousness, smarts, wit, hard work. That's what he had to offer her. And they worked it. Now they're thriving, but it took him 20 years. Now she can sit back and enjoy the fruits of the labor. But I just think that sometimes when I hear it, especially in our community, we don't have those circumstances. That's just reality. What do you guys think? I could be totally wrong.
You're right, because even if you look at the whole situation with Denzel Washington, he has that same story. He was in college. His wife was in college. She told Denzel, listen, you don't work. Don't worry about nothing. I got a nice little job. I'll keep us afloat. But I think you have a promising career in this acting game. So you go to school and I'm going to pay the bills. And she did that for 6-7 years.